Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about some play activities we can do to help us get ready to go to the beach. So today we're going to need some lotion or sunscreen to practice and play with, a sponge or a brush to help us put on our lotion, a hat, sunglasses, and a mirror to help your students see what's going on while they're learning to put on sunscreen. In this group today, we're going to practice some of our self-care skills. Self-care is anything from getting yourself dressed and undressed in the morning, doing grooming like brushing your hair and teeth, hygiene and using the bathroom, especially washing our hands right now, bathing and showering, and feeding. So today we're going to focus on a couple things that help us get ready to go to the beach, for getting dressed, and for tolerating the texture of sunscreen all over to keep us safe from the sun. We're going to practice applying sunscreen today with any lotion that you have at home. This is when we're not getting ready to go somewhere, when we're truly just practicing so that we can increase our tolerance for sunscreen. So is your student sensitive to the sound? You might want to consider a lotion or roll-on sunscreen instead of the spray. If your student's sensitive to smell, you might want to consider one that's fragrance-free. We're going to use play and we're going to practice applying sunscreen to increase our tolerance to the sticky texture. If your student won't tolerate it yet, we're going to work through building up to touching and using the sunscreen on our skin, or have them learn to touch it to your skin and see that it's okay and make sure that your reaction is positive, and then we can build from there. So first we're going to get sensory ready with some movement cards, and if your student is able, and you can talk to your OT about providing some deep pressure and proprioception activities before we apply sunscreen. Your first movement activity to get your body sensory ready is to swim like a dolphin. Show me how you can take your arms and swim with big strokes like a dolphin in the water. We can jump with two hands together or move our hands separately one at a time. Your next movement activity is to fly like a pelican, the birds that fly high over the beach. We're going to stretch our arms up high above our head and back down. Your next movement activity is to pinch like a crab. We're going to use 3 fingers and pinch like the crabs. Can you pinch your fingers alternating, together, randomly? Can they face each other or face away? Nice job. Our last one is to sway like a palm tree. We can sway side to side or sway forwards and backwards. Nice job. It's time to get ready to go to the beach. The first thing we need to get ready to go to the beach is our hat. If your student can put it on by themselves, have them do that. You can do it in front of the mirror so that they can see what they're doing. If they need a little bit of help, you can help guide their hands to the top of their head. You can pull on part of it and have them finish the task by pulling on just the front, or you can have them practice taking it off and then work on building to put back on. Can your student put their hat on you? Can they dress their favorite stuffed animal? These are more ways to use pretend play to expand on this activity. Next, we need our sunglasses. You can use a mirror again to help your students see where they're putting it on. Make sure they don't poke their eyes, and we're going to slide on our sunglasses so we're ready to go to the beach. Okay, now we're going to get ready to put on our sunscreen. This is a messy play activity that you can do when you're staying at home to give your student plenty of time to get used to the smell and the texture of sunscreen. That way we're more ready to go for our next beach or pool trip. So you can have your student help you squeeze some sunscreen or some lotion that's scented out onto the table. You can have them touch it to smear it around. You can hide small toys or objects. Just make sure your student is always supervised in the sunscreen. They can move these around. They can try to find them in it, and this is great to discriminate between the sticky, smooth texture of the lotion and the harder plastic pieces. Then they can pick them up and they can put them in a bowl of water to clean them off. They can continue playing with the lotion and exploring it. Have them touch it with their hands. They can start to explore putting it on their hands or on their arms, on their nose, and other spots around their body that they'll need to apply sunscreen when they go to the beach. You can have them continue playing by giving them directions, like touch the sunscreen with your finger, touch the sunscreen to your hand, touch it to your arm, put it on your nose, and all these other things. You can use a mirror so that they can see what they look like with the sunscreen on their face. You can have them touch with a sponge so that they see how that works, and then even see if they'll apply it to their face like this. This might be a way that they tolerate the texture of sunscreen better during application because it's a little bit more controlled, it doesn't smear into your eyes, and you can really get in all the areas you need in an even consistency. Your student can keep playing in the sunscreen just like we do with any messy play. Hide toys, practice their pre-writing strokes, make scribbles, make funny faces, do their letters, or any shapes they know in their sunscreen. All right, let's get ready to apply sunscreen the day that we're going to the beach or the pool or outside to play. Before we put on sunscreen, after talking with your OT and what your student tolerates and what feels good to them, you can apply some deep pressure or some proprioception before we put on sunscreen with this light texture. So we're going to give squeezes down the arms and legs before we put the lotion on. We can rub our students with a towel, giving firm pressure from the shoulder to the hand, or we can roll our student up in their beach towel to give sustained pressure all over their body for a few seconds. If they don't tolerate this, that's because sustained pressure can be more input than they need. So just monitor your student for how they react and see if they like it and if it calms them. And then you can work on applying sunscreen. So when we put on sunscreen, we want to start with firm pressure and long strokes all the way down the arm. This will be the most organizing pattern for them to tolerate and the most consistent if you do it this way every time so that they can really get used to the routine of putting on sunscreen. So you'll do both arms that way with long, firm pressure all the way down. Lift your hand up and go back up to the top. You'll do the same thing with their legs, moving down their legs. And then their face. So sometimes when you're rubbing sunscreen on the face, it can feel really uncomfortable. It can get in our eyes, near our nose and mouth. So that's why some people started using sponges or brushes or any beauty blender you have. And they're putting it on their face like this. It gives a nice even texture. You can get everywhere you need to, and it's a little bit more controlled, and it won't get in your students' eyes. You can sing a song, play a game, identify your body parts, have your student help during the process, and this should all help make it more of a routine and make it more engaging and cooperative when you're trying to get ready to go to the beach or the pool or outside to play. Give yourself plenty of extra time on the days that you're going to these places so that you know that you have enough time to get sunscreen on, and do it before you get there, because once you see the pool and the beach, it's too exciting. So let's do our sunscreen at home, then we don't have to worry about it and we can get ready to play. If you need more time to keep practicing tolerating lotion and texture like this for sunscreen, but you still want to play outside and you want your student to be protected and safe from the sun, there are alternatives like rash guards, which are tight compression shirts that help protect from the sun. They have an SPF number on them, and these can also provide a little bit of pressure and some deep pressure. Then maybe when you're covering the rest of the exposed areas, this will be a little bit easier for your student to tolerate. There's also plenty of hats that provide neck and face coverage and things like that as you continue to work on tolerating sunscreen.